Thank you, Commissioner, Mayor. Thank you for covering the final portions of this investigation of an event. It still has a young man fighting to fully recover. And for that, my personal, the Providence Police Department's thoughts and prayers are with Mr. Gonsalves, his family, to continue to make that progress. I will tell you, there is not a few days that go by when a member of this department has not asked me if I have heard a updated condition on Mr. Gonsalves. So our thoughts and prayers department-wide continue to be for that speedy recovery. We heard yesterday in great detail from the Rhode Island Attorney General about a very extensive, comprehensive investigation in concert with several agencies, the AG's office, the Rhode Island State Police, including several of their units, and with the cooperation of the Providence Police Department. Nothing will change this crash outcome. However, it was important to pour over in great detail the facts surrounding it. I don't want to belabor what the Rhode Island Attorney General spoke about yesterday or what the Commissioner and Mayor have identified, but again, it was extensive with reviews of cell phone video, the Rhode Island State Police Reconstruction Unit, and I thank the Rhode Island State Police for their work on this and the Attorney General for their work on this. But surveillance video, cell phone video, police radio transmissions, the black box of the vehicle, multiple witnesses, and pouring over reviews of body-worn camera. We're all part of the review. I think we'd all agree, the City of Providence, this Providence Police Department, the outside agencies are challenged significantly by this phenomena of motorbikes, ATVs, scooters, whether alone, whether in small groups, or whether they're in large groups. We continue to look for solutions around that. And I can tell you, I've spoken to colleagues of mine regionally, nationally, like-sized cities, bigger cities, think tanks of policing, the International Association of Chiefs of Police, PERF, the Police Executive Research Forum, CALEA, which is a national accreditation of which the Providence Police gained that national certification in 2014 and remain to have that certification. There is no magic solution in any of these agencies with any of these think tanks. And I basically just wanted to put this in some sort of context. So I think we look at the administrative review as it pertains to policy and approach. We ask our officers to go out there and perform a near impossible task, led by Major Correa. I mean, this is, not only on this phenomena, but on this phenomena is what we're speaking about. It's a near impossible task because it doesn't fall into perfectly a specific policy. And it would be extremely difficult, if not impossible, to codify in the four corners of a policy how to approach this. And I think we have lessons learned from all the events that we've become involved in. So the challenge of these bikes, these ride-outs, is great. They are rapidly evolving events that play out before you. Each one is different. There may be some that are 5, 10, 25, 50, or hundreds, as was the case in this event. And they may play out in the east side of Providence, India Point, Hope Street, Smith Street, Elmwood Avenue, downtown, or in other commercial type areas, each posing their own unique set of challenges as we address it. There's no question this is a public safety risk, a risk to those involved in the ride-out, a risk to the public, whether they are pedestrians or whether they are in a motor vehicle. And I can tell you, the radio calls come in, as they did on this case. I forget the exact number, but there was a large volumes of calls that came in throughout the city with people horrified with what takes place. And some of these rideouts engage in traffic violations, speeding, left of center, riding on sidewalks, and pulling dangerous stunts in general with these large rideouts, and that is our challenge. So what is the direction of the Providence Police? So we have two policies, and here's the context I want to put it in, that are operative here. There is a Providence Police pursuit policy, which is outlines and has been available online, and I know Lindsay can make that further available. And it's, I believe, 16 pages, the pursuit policy. And then as well, we have a traffic enforcement policy. And by every stretch of the measure, by every event that we have, we try to prevent pursuits at all costs. And that is clearly the direction of the department, of the officers in charge, the OICs, of the supervisors of the Providence Police. And these events routinely happen. And you will routinely hear the supervisor call out for further information and terminate a pursuit, or allow it to continue if it falls within the confines of the policy. The other policy that comes into play is the traffic enforcement policy. Now, due to the unpredictable nature of the events, these rapidly evolving events of ATVs, we just don't know what's going to play out. We've seen all sorts of events on these ATVs where these events play out in front of you. And so this event fell into the line of a traffic enforcement. So there was no pursuit. The direction of the leadership of the Providence Police, very well done by the sergeant earlier that day, is we've been consistent on. Monitor the group, follow them, do so safely, be on the lookout for criminal activity, whether it's motor vehicle or flashing of weapons, which they've done in the past. Use your lights to alert other motorists if there's activity that shows that people are going through traffic control signals, which is oftentimes the case, or they're going left of center. Use your lights to notify other motorists, because you could think if you're coming from a side street onto a main thoroughfare and you see this large group coming, and as you take a turn onto a major thoroughfare, hopefully the first thing you'll see is a police light to alert you, okay, there's people operating towards you in your direction. So lights are important. At times, we also escort them to safer locations, as was the case in this event. This was an escort down Elmwood Avenue, going relatively smoothly, at relatively low speeds. And then, lastly, as the commissioner has identified and was brought up yesterday, and I think the mayor identified it, we've successfully been able to take 200 of these vehicles off the street in a safe and prudent manner. Now, how does that happen? It doesn't happen with pursuits. It doesn't happen with boxing in. And I know that became a question in this event. So I just want to clarify, boxing in is prohibited in our pursuit policy. However, in the traffic enforcement policy, and to attain the apprehension of a ATV motor vehicle, certainly we try to block them in when they're stopped or going at a very low speed. That is how we get them. That is the only way to capture a motor vehicle. We try by design when the vehicle is stopped or going at a very low speed. So what we oftentimes see, and this is part of the phenomena, is where there will be a pack, and then as we're escorting them, some of these bikes may separate from the larger group. They may peel off. And that is where we've been able to have success and make a safe and prudent motor vehicle stop and properly cite the operator and properly seize the vehicle. So in this event, it was like we've identified, a rapid succession of events, and it happens probably within 7 seconds, where the scooter veers off from Elmwood Avenue towards Bissell Street, and the police officer follows in the direction of the scooter and then is unable to navigate and negotiate that turn. And that is what the commissioner identified, the safe operation of vehicles, which substantiates the preventable accident and substantiates that administrative function. Again, this is a very large challenge for the Providence Police Department, and on this event, that is what played out. The tail end was rapid, and we've lodged the proper charge. I think administrative charges have to be equitable and consistent and shouldn't be driven by the total. We look at the totality, the comprehensive look of the entire event, and that's what we've done here. We've poured over countless pieces of information. I want to thank the Office of Professional Responsibility, Major Oscar Perez. He's here as well. He worked on this case from start to finish. He cooperated with the investigation with the Rhode Island Attorney General's office and the Rhode Island State Police.